Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we get into this, okay, I know y'all read the title, so I really want to try to clarify this before we jump into this video, because I know this video is going to be long. This has been a 2-year process, okay? I've had to buy almost a total of 10 cars to make this happen. All right, so this is not a you're just going to find a bunch of parts for under $1,000 kind of video. This is a you're going to have to hustle to make this happen, but I built this car behind me for under $1,000. That includes the car, the motor, the trans, everything that's inside that car right now for under $1,000. Now, I have proof through text message threads, through certain videos of buyers coming to get things. I'll be honest, me buying certain cars, I don't have on video. We lost a lot of footage over the past 2 years. I'm in a whole different house. I'm a whole different person than I was when I started filming this. I wanted to prove that you could do this. Really actually set out to build this car for under $5,000. It ended up coming in under $1,000. I'm gonna try to put in screenshots of any type of proof that I have, because of course I know some people are just not going to believe anything I say, which is fine, but I've bought a lot of these cars and sold a lot of this stuff with multiple witnesses and people around me. This is not something I did in a week. We're going to be going over this, but I'm also going to try to prove to you that it is possible to do this for under $5,000. Of course I did it under $1,000. I'm not saying you're going to be able to do that, but I did this for under $5,000. So let's get into it.
What are you going to do?
Told you. We're gonna hang out, and watch a movie.
Can I build an LS swap drift car for under $5,000? Now, when I say LS, I don't mean a truck motor, an LM. I don't mean any of that stuff, right? I'm talking about a true LS motor, whether it be LS1, 6, 3, 2. Can I do the entire build for under $5 grand? So obviously right now, I'm standing in front of one of the cars I bought this weekend. Now this car is a 2010 Hyundai Genesis Coupe track model. I am at a gas station right now because I'm driving to Oklahoma to go pick up a new project car. So, alright, so like 3 hours later, finally here. It doesn't run obviously, so we gotta like winch it onto the trailer. Inside of this Genesis Coupe, it is a 5.3 Gen 3 motor, okay? And it is essentially pulled out of a truck. It's got the truck intake, but it's paired up to a 4L60 trans, and it also has the Holley Terminator X system. I bought this car and it has a clean title. I bought it this weekend. Now, after I got some other parts with it and stuff like that, so after I sold some of those parts that I had that I knew I could get rid of pretty quickly, I'm actually into this car for only $1,500. So now, what you can't see on screen is the second car I bought this weekend, which is a 2006 Pontiac GTO. The Pontiac GTO came stock with the LS2. Now, if you guys know how my other Genesis got built, you'll know that I built it off of buying a 2006 GTO. I bought a 2006 GTO to build my last Genesis. I ripped the trans and I ripped the motor out of that GTO and paid about $1,000 for the car completely because it was a wrecked car. Same thing here, right? Except this is actually not wrecked. It doesn't have a title, but the guy I bought it from just needed some cash. Didn't have the title, and it has an automatic transmission with it, unfortunately. The LS2 though, however, is still strong. It's got 80,000 miles on the clock. I also found out it has some super rare, like red interior, like with the suede and stuff. And I'm into this car right now. I paid $1,400 for this car. So total, this weekend I have spent $2,900, and I have 2 cars. All right, so let's talk about the rules of engagement, and I only have $5,000 to do this. I'm $2,900 deep into the project currently, right? But let's say I sell that motor, trans, and that Holley harness in that Genesis Coupe, and I recoup, let's say $1,500. Now, I'm not into it $2,900. I'm into it only $1,400. Now, let's say I pull the LS motor out of this car, and I part out the car, and I get my money back essentially. Now I'm into it for $0. That means that I have a clean title car with an LS2, and because this already has an LS motor in it essentially, it already has the mounts and everything that I need to get the car essentially there. There are a few things that I'm probably going to have to get as far as supporting mods. If I can get what I paid for the GTO back, and I can get $1,500 for that motor and trans, I can now have a clean title car with an LS2, and I would have paid $0. And again, we're not going to include the gas prices and all that kind of stuff, and I already have a lot of tools for this stuff, so we can't really include that. But I feel like most guys have essentially the type of tools that I have. Maybe you don't have access to a trailer, but I bet your boy does, and you can use the trailer. This weekend is the goal to get this motor out, get the Genesis motor out, and then also get the GTO motor out so I can get all that gone. So, you know, like with the Holley kit, you know, he bought some of the Holley accessory drives and all that good stuff. Really, I mean, he probably invested at least $2,500 into this, so I think $1,500 is pretty fair. I think I can get that. It does start, it will crank over, so now it's gonna get the motor pulled out. There's also this big spider, it's like that big, came crawling out the subframe onto my wrench.
I just wanna stay at the steak house, stay at your bay house. Watch out for them laws when you crawl, cause they stay out. Came up cause I stay down, bitch you gotta pay now. They call us apes, so I'm really rockin' bait now. My body, I'm nothing erotic, I'm nothing exotic, I'm blacker than black. Ooh, not poppin' no molly.
Motor's out, I'm a little tired. We got another LS too.
On there, point and click, get in there, talk about www.wcom. You got them naked chicks on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I got a dude coming tomorrow to buy the shell, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it buttoned up. The guy's supposed to come buy the shell for $2,500. If he buys the shell for $2,500, then I only spent $1,400 on the entire thing. So that means that I'm essentially gonna be making $1,100. Now again, I still have $1,500 into the Hyundai Genesis. I believe that I can get at least $1,500 for that motor and trans setup that's in there with all the Holley stuff. Now I might actually keep that Terminator because the LS2 is a 24X because it wasn't until 2007 where you started seeing all the LS2s come with the 58X. So this LS2 technically should work on that $1,700 Terminator X 24X kit. So I might keep that because that's actually a lot easier. And if I can keep it, then that saves me from having to buy another harness or rip the, I'm gonna rip the GTO harness out of here anyways because I'm gonna take it and sell it. I've already told the guy I'm taking the harness, the ECU, the pedal, and the motor. I can still probably get at least $100, $200 for the harness that's inside the GTO. There's two reasons why I haven't really been filming the interactions. The guys, and like the guy I bought this car from, the guy I bought the Genesis from, you know, they're financially hurting. And so I'm not trying to rub it in their face and bring a camera and be like, hey, you know, what are we paying for this, you know, because it's kind of disrespectful. And at the end of the day, it's just business, right? Gas Monkey Garage, all these other garages, they go in, they negotiate with these people, and they try to get the lowest possible price because at the end of the day, they're there to make money. I still had to find a T56, right? I got to either find an F-body or another GTO with a T56.
Marrow for sure.
What's up, man? Yeah, other than that, all it took was exactly what I told you I was taking.
Yeah, I'm just using this as a park car.
They go bye-bye, they leave, it goes down the road. GTO is gone, cash in hand. I'm telling you right now, look at this. When I say, look, this shit is all hundreds. Okay, this ain't no game.
The amount of money I'm gonna be making would hurt your parents' feelings. Dollar bills, y'all.
I got the money I need. I only paid $1,400 for the car. I got $2,500 in hand right now. I'm gonna sell the motor out of the Genesis right now, and I gotta pull that out today. I'm now making money. I'm telling you, this shit is easy. This is fucking light work, son. That was much easier. All right, so the LM7's loaded up into the bag. Gonna take that to Joey tomorrow. So we got, yeah, the motor's in the back here. I'm gonna cut this down for 2 seconds.
Just go straight forward, don't turn.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so the motor's gone, and your boy has got his cash in hand.
Dollar bills, y'all.
So right here, so we're good to go. On to the next.
3 days later.
As you can see, I got the trailer loaded up again. Someone decided to call me a crack addict / fiend, And I think that's the best way to describe this, but I found a Genesis coupe. Dude had a blown motor, it's got a title, but he's got some BC coils and all this other stuff on it. I got him down to $1,000. Now I'm gonna talk him down even more when I get there. We're gonna see what happens, but I really want to get these coils for free. The goal here is just not to pay for the coils. Hey, first of all, guys, fuck the lens right now, okay? I got the Genesis on here. It wasn't what we expected. What's your name? This is Miguel, okay? He showed up, you know, with me. You know, we were negotiating with this guy. We ended up getting the car for $200. Now he's trying to negotiate with me to fucking try to get the bumper that I was so nice enough to fucking get this guy to give us.
I was gonna walk, but all right.
No. Listen, now he wants the seats too. He wants the seats and the bumper for what? 40 bucks? Nah, that's on crack.
120.
He's saying 120 for the seats.
That's 50%.
What y'all think? You think I should give this man these seats and this bumper for 120? Now I paid 200 for the whole car. So what do you think I should do here? Cause y'all know what I'm trying to do. Miguel, do you think it's worth it?
I think it's worth it.
He thinks it's worth it.
I think it should be cheaper, but
That's because he saw the deal. You gonna come get him tomorrow?
I probably can, yeah.
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give it to him for 120.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Say hi to the people. Let them know
what's going on, man.
What's up. You know, this dude, the dude that we went and saw, he feels like we took advantage of him. We didn't take advantage of him.
He thought we knew each other, right?
Yeah, he really did. But you know, shit happens. So honestly, though, right now I'm excited because we got the car. Miguel's gonna get some cheap ass seats from me. They are cheap. Don't let him say to y'all that those seats aren't cheap. You go on eBay, how much some seats are right now? Like $500. You boys know I gotta get my money back, so that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna give him the bumper and the seats for 120. Get your proper form going. All right, see that? Get a good stretch in you. Look at the glutes. Look at the glutes, okay? Look at that form. See that? Straight up and down, all right? Keep going. Oh, the car's rolling. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, I'm outside, but it says I have to like put a code in.
Yeah, I sent you the code, 2461. That was Miguel, he's on the way. I gotta get some more of the shit off it. He's gonna come pull that interior. There's definitely a part of me that wanted to take the seats out of this car because it's got those red and black seats that the R specs and some of the tracks came with. You know what we're here for. We're here to make money. I'm not trying to, you know, be all super stylish with it, so, you know, I'm getting a good deal for the seats. No, not really. I'm giving Miguel a steal. Miguel, I'm giving you a fucking steal on these seats, dog. That's it right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
120.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Appreciate you. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I got it.
Alright.
Just the other seat, but I'll take it right now. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy it.
I'll probably see you at some of the events or something that you're going to.
Well, so the next one's in Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
You're gonna probably be like, you're gonna be like a Texas 2K or anything like that? Because I know they're having the last one in Baytown before they close down that track.
Yeah, I might go this year, but we'll see. I found a we buy junk cars type deal where they're actually gonna give me $200 for the car because they just asked what I want. I just said 200. I got someone coming to buy the trunk, and I pulled some other parts off the car. I already told them, hey, I'm just gonna give you the car with the motor and the trans. You know, I'm gonna strip some other stuff off. And they're like, all right, bring it. You know, I've got to pull some more stuff off the car, but the BC coils are off. Yeah, so I got the coilovers for free. Now again, down the road, I'm probably gonna run something a little bit better. But for now, these BC coils are going to work just fine. All right, so I finally got all of the BC coilovers cleaned up. So as you can see, they look pretty good. As you can see, I've got the rear setup, this the front setup right here, and then also got the end links with it. So all in all, guys, this was a pretty good day. I also got a battery. You know, and batteries right now like $150 for a good like little AutoZone battery.
3 days later.
Currently about an hour out, but going to look at a 2004 GTO. Now the GTO, 2004 had the LS1 with the T56, but the T56 for all 3 years were essentially all the same. Price on this GTO right now, he's asking about $4,000 for it. Body is absolute trash. Now the only difference with this is that he actually wouldn't reply to me. I don't really know the whole case or the story or anything about it, but I actually had to get my boy Taz to message this guy, and he responded to Taz. So he thinks that Taz is buying the car, but what we told him is that, hey, I can't make it, but I'm sending my boy with a trailer, and I have Ariel with me, and so she is going to be essentially playing Taz's girlfriend, so that way he doesn't think just some random white dude is coming to get this car. Because I'm trying to do better at filming this stuff, but it is hard to do these deals when I've got this giant camera at their face, because a lot of times they don't really want to work these deals when there's a big camera pointing at them. So I don't want to pay $4 grand either. Like at most I want to pay maybe like 3, really pay 2, but I'll pay 3 just because I'm up so much money right now that it really doesn't matter. He actually ended up being a really nice guy. I have no idea why he wouldn't answer anybody else besides Taz before, but it is what it is. So I ended up paying $3,000 for the car. Hopefully everything works out well on it. I'm kind of filming and driving right now because he has the title at his office, so we had to go to the office to go get the title. But I haven't even paid the dude yet, so I could just run off on the plug and, you know, but I'm not a dick. I want to be a dick, but I'm just not. Yeah, so he's a videographer. He had a gig today. He was like, yeah, can you go get it for me? And then his girl was bored, so she was like, I want to go.
Sign right there by the light or signature inks, and let me get you to bill the sale.
Okay.
And just, you know, I just don't want you getting stuff.
No, I appreciate that. Here, I brought the cash in here so I could
Okay, that's what
kind of make sure it's all there. It should be 3. So. Okay. Yeah, that's 3 right here.
Sure.
You think that he rebuilt that trans when they did the motor?
Well, he had just done it when he blew up the other motor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said he had it set for years.
Yeah, it sat there, but like I said, I got a Chevelle on the way, so. Are you gonna title this thing?
I don't plan on, as long as I get a title, I'm just gonna keep the title.
I'll just give you this title. Here.
That's fine.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you the bill of sale with it too.
Okay.
If something ever comes up and you guys decide, hey, we wanna build this car,
Yeah.
well, just hit me up.
If the paint was better, I probably would do something like that, but
Alrighty, man, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Again, if you get here, it don't work, bring it back, set it back in my yard, give me money back.
all right, sounds good, man. I appreciate that, Daryl. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for making this so smooth.
Yeah, and I assure you, everything in it is top notch as far as working.
Like I said, you know, I give you the trust. You know, you seem like a straightforward guy, so.
Yeah, if I did, it's a whole lot easier on it.
All right, that's all we got left is our word, man. That's it.
That's it. Be careful.
Take it easy. I appreciate you. Well, boys and girls, there she is. This I do have the fenders and bumper and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's in the bed. No power steering. It did come with a clean title. It was bought as a repossessed car because and the guy that Daryl, which was the guy that we bought the car from, obviously I wasn't recording because I didn't know how that interaction was going to go, and it seemed like everything was fine. He ended up being a pretty cool guy, so I don't know why he didn't reply like to me and shit, but only replied to Taz. I don't know. It just ended up settling for $3,000 for the car because it does run, the transmission works, and we went to his office here over here and he showed me. He was like, yeah, this is a video from the guy that actually used to own it, and I bought it from auction essentially. And he was like, I know the transmission was rebuilt. He gave me all the paperwork with it. So transmission was rebuilt, the motor was rebuilt, so the car looks like shit, but it did have paperwork, so it is what it is. How you feeling over there? Good. She a little stressed over there.
The next day.
So I am back in the garage, and I want to do a little walk around of the new GTO that I bought. So this right here is my beautiful, absolutely flawless body 2004 GTO. Probably some of the best paint I've ever seen in my entire world. Now she is a painter, and she knows how great this paint looks. BC coilovers, okay, I see you out here. Now if you step over here, we'll see we have this flawless paint. Right now this is a custom camo paint job. You Mopar guys are really gonna love this. It's just a beautiful interior inside of here. Aftermarket taillights, you know, those are real pretty. As beautiful as 2004 GTOs get. She's here today to help me tear apart the car. It's gonna be a great time. But it's got a freshly rebuilt T56 in it, so that's kind of what we want. Paid $3,000 for the car. I think I got a buyer for the motor already at $2,500 for that comes with the harness, the pedal, everything like that. The boy should be getting his money back, and I told you I get this T56 for free. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get this bitch for free. This one's actually a little bit easier because the AC compressor is already out of the way. So now I'm just essentially, I already got the motor mounts undone. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest guys, I'm not gonna film this. I was gonna do a little montage thing, but. All right, boys and girls, the motor is out. Trans is with it.
Transgender.
Be real honest with you guys. Wow, I am super duper dark.
You trying to be me, bro? You can't be me, bro.
Alright, hold on.
I'm the only black guy around here, bro. You feel me? Yeah. Hey, I make the vlog, bro. I made the vlog. Yeah. I'm in that thing.
Yeah, he's.
Hey, follow me at Real Nigga 789. You know what I'm talking about? Sleepy, y'all. I'm out.
Yeah, so anyways, it's like 4 hours later. I'm disgusting. I really just didn't want to film all that because you guys saw me take out a motor before, but the motor's out. Trans is out. I'm exhausted, y'all. I'm going to bed. All right, guys, so I took a little trip to New York City, so I had to put the GTO on hold, but obviously you guys know that I got the engine out. It's done. Shelby's over there. She doesn't want to be on camera for some reason, but she actually cleaned out the entire interior for me today because I posted this car on Facebook, right? And I posted it for $500 for the shell. I shit you not. I woke up this morning to over 100 messages. I had, actually my phone's still going off. I had a bunch of people offering crazy money, so I had a guy that was like, hey, I'll give you $1,000 cash for that shell, and I was like, bet, come get it, you know? I got a guy coming for $1,000. He says, dude, fuck that, dude. I'll give you $2 grand. He's supposed to be here in an hour. I hope to God he shows up because, guys, I'm only into this car for $3 grand. Listen, guys, if I can get $2 grand for this shell, and I know I can get $2 grand for that motor, I'm gonna make $1,000 and get the T56. I'm on cloud 9 right now if I get $2 grand. I'm not even expecting $2 grand. I was expecting maybe $1,000 because it looks like ass. But apparently these GTO guys are fucking insane and they will just buy whatever. We about to see. So I'm waiting for this guy to show up. $2,000.
$2,000?
$2,000, Taz.
Bro, you joking, right?
No, I'm not. I had the you want to see the messages?
Bro, $2 grand. Do they know, like...
Yeah, I sent them all the pictures, everything.
Hey, man, to each his own. You know, this thing's rough. Oh, it's got BCs on it?
Yeah, it's got I'm keeping the wiring harness in it. The interior's pretty clean.
I can't see past how messed up it is right now, so that's why I can't really like say like, oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, it does have a clean title and stuff, so I mean, it's not.
$2 grand, bro.
Dude, I'm even shocked. Don't lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked. I was expecting to maybe get $1,000 out of it. I had plenty of offers at $1,000.
What you bought this for?
This entire car, I bought it for $3 grand.
Kudos, man. Go find you another one.
That's the thing also, guys. So the HOA actually...
I was outside talking to you on the phone, and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, so anyways, HOA is trying to fine me for quote-unquote working on my cars in the driveway, which apparently you can't do here. I wanted to buy a place where I had like my own shop and everything, but guys, HOA is on my ass. They're always on my ass, so basically they want, they're gonna fine me for having cars in my driveway and working. You can't work on your car in the driveway apparently at all, and you can't park on the street here at all. You can't do all types of shit, so I'm gonna move here. I actually texted my realtor. I can't deal with this shit. I pay them $1,200 a year for them to fucking neo-Nazi and tell me what I can fucking do with my life. What's up, man? You here for the Radiator?
Oh, man.
What's up, man?
I got to get the Radiator.
Let me grab it for you.
That's an 04?
Yeah, it's an 04.
And it had a 6.0 in it?
Well, so the guy originally had a 5.7. He had a blower on it and he blew it. So then he wanted to boost it again. So he put a 6.0 iron block in there instead because they hold the boost better.
Iron block. Okay.
So, and then he like put a cam in it. It's got the 317 heads and all that shit. And I've got the LS6 intake and stuff on it. But essentially it's doing that and then got the car repossessed. All the panels and stuff are straight. He had it on air ride too at some point.
How much you bought it from the auction for?
I didn't buy it from the auction. So I bought it from the guy that bought it from the auction. I paid $3 grand for the entire thing. Which is actually more than I wanted to spend because that one right there, like that LS2 right there, I spent $1,400 on that car. And then I sold the body for $2,500. Actually, the guy that bought the other body from me wanted to buy this one.
Where you be buying them from?
Bro, I'd be staying on Facebook Marketplace.
The guy coming today for sure?
He said $2 grand today.
You went to 2?
Yeah, another guy went to 2. But I like I said, I listed it at 5 because I thought no one was going to pay for it. I don't remember what my cash app is. So we 150, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see it on here.
Dollar bills, y'all.
That fans, would those fans work for the 06 too?
Yeah, it's all the same fan. Literally, this came out of an 06.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
that's what I'm saying. This is a better one. All that came out of an 06. Because that was the one I had that I got that LS2 out of.
And you say you want $2,500 for it?
Not for the LS2. No. For this one.
The 6.0.
Yeah.
And that one got a cam in it?
Yeah, and here, I'll show you what it sounded like when I was running.
He had the original ECM on there, or he had another ECM?
Yeah.
You want to sell the ECM?
I have more. I have like 2 other ECUs in there, and you can reflash them and do whatever.
Yeah, maybe I came to the fucking right house.
I have the harnesses with them, and I never know. So.
You want to take $1.50 for it? That's $300.
Do I want to take $150 for it?
$300.
I know I'm thinking. Yeah, I'll take $150. That's fine. I'll tell you that.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Shit, I'm about to crank it up. I'm about to see if I can get it crunked. I'm gonna tell the dude.
I don't think you can without getting it flashed.
No, I'm gonna take it to the man who does he program keys.
What's up, man?
Sotero, bro.
What kind of car is that? It's a Genesis Coupe. Yeah, it's got
like a ball?
Yeah, it's long travel.
What's the less you take for it? You had it for $5.
Nah, bro, I have $2,000 offers right now. I'm not.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm not taking less than what we
but
talked
that's
about.
what I'm talking about. We called you when the same time he called you,
Yeah.
and you said you had another guy coming for it, and
Yeah.
we told him, well, we come and get it right now.
I'm not taking anything less than what we talked about.
Not even $900 right now.
Dude, I have 110 messages right now, dude. Just got off a plane. I wasn't home. I just got off the plane an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
If you want to do 9, you might as well get that out. 'Cause I got other dudes online.
What's the title at?
I don't think.
Got the keys?
What's in the phone?
Dollar bills, y'all.
So we test drive at least?
Yeah, take for a test drive.
I need you to push
Yeah,
it
we'll
around.
Flintstone it down the street. We can. It is day, I don't know, 14 or something like that. The GTO, gone. I ended up actually picking up $1,600. So I made $1,600 essentially just off the shelf. And also I sold the ECU from the other one for essentially $150. So, which I think was kind of cheap. But anyways, I sold that for $150. Now remember, I'm only $3 grand into that shell. So as of right now, $1,200 short. So, and remember, I still got the motor here. So I still have that 6.0 iron block. Now I went ahead and I've already taken the T56 off of the motor to kind of see if the dude was telling me the truth about that clutch that was inside of here. He wasn't lying. The spec clutch is inside of there. So today I'm essentially going to clean that 6.0 up. And when I say clean it up, all I mean is spray it with some brake cleaner and shit. Get some of the grease off. Get some pictures of it, get it posted so I can get it out of here as quick as I can. I'm gonna list it for $2,500, and then hopefully I'll be able to sell it for $2,000 and make a little bit of money. Anyways, the motor's all cleaned up to the best of my abilities. You know, I just used a combination of some brake cleaner and then this little engine degreaser. All right, boys and girls, so the guy possibly coming to buy the motor is here. So. How we doing? Good. Alex. Nick. This is it right here. I've got the other header on this side. To get it out of the car it was in, I had to figure it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what heads are these?
These are 317 heads.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I definitely want to go this way. I understand.
I'm not going to refuse any reasonable offer on it. You know,
Yeah, but I don't want to insult
so.
you either. I mean, it's.
You ain't gonna insult me, man. It doesn't. I don't get insulted. So. I mean, just like I said, tell me the price you feel comfortable.
You do $1,800 on it? Cash? I mean, $100 bills.
Yeah, 1,800 sure, man. I don't see an issue with that. I'll take 1,800.
Man, I appreciate it. And,
2 hours later.
He just came and got the motor. As you can see, I have a lot more space in my garage. I just got paid.
Dollar.
We settled on $1,800 for the motor with the factory harness and the GTO ECU that I had out of there. So we settled on $1,800, and then but the only difference was he actually bought a few other things for me. I had some other shit laying in my garage, so he gave me an extra $100. This right here is he gave me a $100 deposit. So essentially, right here I have $1,800. Got rid of that motor. So again, I posted it for $2,500 and I ended up getting essentially $1,900. So I'm feeling pretty happy. Right now, I'm working on the Baja Genesis because I got the event in Florida. I'm gonna give an update pretty soon about where we're at cash-wise with the build so far. But I can already tell you right now, I'm up money and I have the LS2 and the T56, guys. I've got essentially a brand new clutch. But I think what I'm gonna do is, I have a buyer for that clutch for $200, and I found an LS7 clutch with a lightweight flywheel for $250. So I might end up doing that swap because I have an LS7 clutch in the Genesis and I've really liked it. Now, I mean, technically, I should be close to like $6,200, $6,100 in cash. And I have a car, the motor, the trans, the mount, the harness. I got all that and I'm actually up money, boys and girls. And like I said, I'm putting in the video so that way you can see my negotiation with the guy. I could have got him up to $2 grand for the motor. I know he would have paid that, but he was a nice guy and I wanted to give him a good deal. A little quick break here. What y'all just watched, that took me about 3 to 4 weeks to do. Then I took about a 2-month hiatus because I had to go work overseas. What I do for a living, my main job is I pretty much work internationally. I travel all the time. For some of you guys that follow me know I'm always out of the country. I actually just came back into the country yesterday. Making this little interlude so you can kind of understand that what you just saw was the first part of it, and that was the course of about a month. And then about 2 months I was gone, and then when I came back, I actually sold that white Genesis shell for $1,000. I cannot find any proof of that. I think it was a text message with a guy I knew personally, but I can't find that. It was so long ago, but I ended up getting $1,000 for that shell, which during COVID honestly isn't crazy for a clean title shell like that. It was actually really cheap. The next time is I went ahead and I actually bought a 2010 red track model Genesis coupe, which is, you know, the one that you see up there now. Ended up finding that one, and I have the screenshots from that, so you guys are gonna see that next. Took forever, but I finally found a 2010 Hyundai Genesis coupe track, the same one that I had when I bought in 2013, the same one that is my Baja Genesis. It's all the same thing in red, because the new drift car, I wanted it to be red, and you know, I've been putting off doing that build, but now I found one. It's clean as fuck, clean as shit. I paid $3,000 for this car. It's the track model, got the Brembros, all that kind of stuff. So paying $3,000 wasn't bad, but ideally your boy likes a deal. But I'm selling the other shell, so I'm getting my money back essentially. So you got a running and driving car with a clean title, and it's my new baby. I'm so excited, y'all. So right now I am just chilling in this office in the AC. It's very hot outside. Sold that motor for $2,000. They're gonna pull it, do everything. I just sit here and collect the cash. I'm gonna get about $400 on the cat, $500 on the transmission, and then I'm gonna drop an LS motor in it. I'm about to sit here for 2 hours, watch them work and pull it. But I want to take a quick break and kind of go over on the whiteboard what I have done so far. So I'm gonna do my best. This is a really ghetto setup. We are going to talk about where we're at so far money-wise. Now we're gonna start with the first white Genesis that I bought. So that one, again, I paid $2,500 for, and hopefully y'all can see that. I ended up selling some things out of it. So let's look at what we sold. We sold the wheels for $500. We sold the seats out of it for another $500. I sold the motor, that LM7 that was in there. I sold that for $1,500 with the transmission. And then I ended up selling the shell itself for $1,000. That was the Brembros that was on it, and everything else that was kind of in that car. Now with that car, I also kept the ISR swap kit for the LS swap kit. So I had all that, the drive shaft, the engine mounts, trans mounts. So I kept all that. So I had that because I was actually going to use that. We ended up coming out to a $1,500 profit in the green on the $1,500 for that car. Now the second one that we bought was the first GTO. Okay, so for the first GTO, I paid $1,400 for it, and that was the red one with the automatic transmission and no title. So ended up selling that shell for $2,500, and I kept the engine harness, the LS2 itself. I got rid of the shell. So on this one right here, we made a profit on the first GTO of $1,100. And right now I have a guy pulling up. I have another car in here for part out, which we're going to talk about later. The next car that we bought was the black Genesis, so I paid $200 for that. And of course, I sold some miscellaneous parts like the seats, the bumper, some that you saw on camera, some miscellaneous parts in the junkyard for roughly $700. We made a profit of $500 on that one right there. What's up, guys? Hey, all right. And then, so the last car we bought in that series is going to be the second GTO. That's the one that had that really shitty paint job on it, that orange and black camo. Okay, I paid $3,000 for that car. And we saw in there, ended up selling the motor out of that car, which was that 6-liter iron block. So we sold that for $1,900. And then now I could not find anywhere where that guy that offered me the $1,600 didn't have that footage. So we're just gonna go off the messages where I was offered $1,000 and I know I could easily get the $1,000 for it. So we're gonna go off that. So I got $1,000 for the shell, and then I know I sold another $100 worth of, like, for the radiator and a few other things that I pulled off that car that didn't go with the shell. So with this one, this was actually the first car that I broke even on, but again, remember I took the T56 out of it and was able to keep the T56 from that car. So this is the first car where I actually had a break even on that car. We are now currently at $2,000, so $3,100. So right now we are at $3,100 in profit on top of the additional $5,000 we started with, because again, this is all profit here. So at this point now, I'm at $8,100 in pure cash. So now that I have the $8,000 in cash, $8,100, again, I had a $3,100 profit on the car so far. And again, I have that, plus I have the LS2, the T56, the swap kit, and I have the Holley Terminator X Max kit as well, so I have all the wiring harness. So really at this point, all I was missing was the car. I ended up paying $3,000 for that car, so I took all the profit from here and I bought that car. Then out of that Genesis, I ended up selling the 2.0 motor that was in it, because this is during COVID when people were wanting $4,000 for those motors. I sold the motor out of this car right here for $2,000 and they pulled it. I sold the BC coils that came with that car, and I sold the cats and the trans, because the catalytic converter prices were insane at that price. So the BC coils I sold for $500, and then I sold the cats and the transmission, because it had a manual transmission in this car. I sold that with the catalytic converters for another $500. So on this car, I actually made all of my money back, so it was a break even, but so I'm back to having the $3,100 in profit at this point. So now I have this car as a shell. Now in the next section of this video, that's when I got real into just buying Genesis coupes. I spent like a year and a half, and all I did was just buy Genesis coupes. I actually have some guys here right now working on a car that I currently have in the garage where they're taking the motor out of it. So it's nonstop. It's been nonstop ever since then. I've bought probably close to 200 Genesis coupes in that time frame, and I have a little montage of doing that. But so for the next like year and a half, I got real into just making money. I didn't really care about the project anymore. All I cared about was buying the cars, making the money. That's really all I did. Exhausting. All right, shout out my boy here. Just picked up. Look at this fucking monster back here though. And this. I got my baby back.
This man must be stopped. This man must be stopped.
Honestly, it's gonna. I can't wait. I can't wait to send this to the chop shop. It's going in the chop shop. I swear to God. I spent $4,000 on a Genesis coupe. That is the most I've ever spent on a Genesis coupe, and I buy a lot of Genesis coupes. I haven't spent that much money on a Genesis coupe since I bought my original Baja when it was like brand new, like 10 years ago. Right behind me on the trailer here, it's a 2013 clean title, but it's got a little bit of a secret in there. So this actually has an LS swap done. It's an LS1 with a T56 out of a 2004 GTO. Now again, I haven't really verified a lot of that information. Yeah, Taz is working on his piece of shit GS that doesn't run all the time, so he can yell as much as he wants, but at least I got cars that run. It does have a true LS1 in here. It's got the 241 heads. It's out of a 2004 GTO. It has the complete Sikky swap kit, including the headers, one-piece drive shaft, mounts, all that good stuff, oil relocation. I hate where they did this. This is awful. But I'm going to show you guys a clip of what the motor sounds like. Like I said, some modifications. This guy's little crash bar thing here, the bolt-in stuff. Anyways, inside of the car here, there is no gauges. And actually, the thing to start it is sitting in here. You got to pull it out. So yeah, the problem is that there is no indicator lights anywhere, so I can't see what the temperature is running, and I know the motor probably got a little too hot at some point, especially with how the cooling system is done. You know, the buyer told me that they thought it was just a lifter tick. It's definitely more. Now, there could be issues with the lifters, could be other things, but the car does run and drive. I mean, I can drive it up and down the street, but it doesn't have really any power. But I didn't buy this car to fix. I bought this car for the Sikky kit. Brand new Sikky kit for all that stuff that's in here is like $5 grand. So with me being able to sell the trans out of here, sell the motor, part the car out, I should be able to make a little bit of cash on it. You know, I'll definitely break even, but I should be able to make maybe $1 grand off it and then get the Sikky kit for free. Okay, so now we're back to present day Alex. Now, when I bought that LS swap Genesis coupe, that kind of gave me the motivation to finish up the drift car LS swap project that we're doing for this video. So that really gave me the motivation to do that because it had the Sikky swap kit that I really wanted. And of course, you know, I have a car in here right now. The guys just came to get the motor from me. I'm waiting on the people to come get the rest of the car now. They should be here any minute.
We got Blade out here in the flesh. That's what we got. We got Blade.
What's up? You know, Alex out here running his chop shop.
Yep, right behind Taz, there's gonna be a car that drives past and a Genesis coupe. Appreciate y'all.
Sold.
There it goes. Sold.
But in the meantime, of course, I'd rather be editing today, but I'm doing that because this is what makes me money. I wanted to just kind of talk about the time lapse between the buying and selling all those coupes. And of course, during that time, I bought a new house, I got a new garage, I got set up with the 2-post lift in here, the 4-post lift, and it's a much better space for me. You know, when it came to the drift car, of course, you see on there I have those white Cosmos wheels that came off a Genesis coupe that I bought. I now have PB and Pro Max coilovers on it. Those came off a car that I bought. It has the FDF angle kit that came off a car that I bought. And then I also have the carbon fiber hood that came off a car that I got. And then the profit I made off of selling parts off that car, I ended up using that to then paint the hood red match because I don't like exposed carbon. Now that I'm in the new house and I got the 2-post lift in here and I've kind of got everything going, then it really gave me that motivation to get this project going again. And again, I now have that Sikky swap kit, so I sold the ISR swap kit that I had for $1,000. So that was just extra money towards this build, which of course, if we're adding up that tally, now I'm at like $9,100 in pure cash, on top of having the car, the LS2, the T56, the Sikky swap kit, the Holley Terminator, the FDF angle kit, the PB and Pro Max coilovers, the carbon fiber hood. Of course, in that car, I have the like BK2 R-Spec seats. Again, came out of a car that I purchased and parted out. I also have the dual caliber bracket. Now, I will be honest on that one, I actually had to buy that from FDF. So I believe that was a $300 purchase. Of course, I already had another set of rear Brembros because I found out the Civic guys will buy the front Brembros because it fits their cars, the Honda Civic, and then so I had a bunch of just leftover. It's really, really hard to sell rear Brembros by themselves. I know I say that bad, but Brembro, whatever. So I ended up spending $300 to buy the dual caliper setup for the hydraulic handbrake. And I did buy the hydraulic handbrake. I got that on sale actually. So I got the Sikky hydraulic handbrake. I paid $150 for that. And then of course I think I paid $100 for the extended reservoir. So I think that whole entire thing ended up costing me, let's just say $500. So we'll take that out of the ISR swap kit that I bought. So now we're really, what, $8,600 in profit at this point. And again, now I have everything that we've already listed. So there is some other stuff I have to purchase, which is going to come from Jason Riddle. It's a bunch of little miscellaneous parts like AN fittings and whatnot, and he just kind of sells a kit, makes it real easy for me. So shout out to Jason. If you guys ever do this, hit that man up. He's going to take care of you. He has some really great prices. The funny thing is I actually bought another blown drift Genesis coupe that's on my trailer right now. And it also has an FDF angle kit and some BC coilovers and a bunch of other stuff, and like the radiator that I had to purchase from Jason because I had one of those radiators and then I sold it because I just wanted to make the profit, but I'm not adding it into this video. At this point, we are now going to jump into the actual build part of this series. So this is going to be actually building the Genesis coupe. This process took me about a week, 5 days. I could have gotten it done in 4, but I ended up having to wait on another part to come, and so, you know, just little miscellaneous things here and there that, you know, you need a little hose or something that you didn't have, so.
Yes, sir, Bob! On today's episode of What the Fuck Is They Doing? We have, of course, another Genesis coupe. This used to have a 4-liter turbo in it.
Yeah.
But now it's gonna have an LS2 with some nice Sikky headers and a whole bunch of other little goods. The crazy part about all of this is that through trading and buying up and all that good stuff, he's got only about, let's just say, a total of $1,500 into the car. That includes buying the car and the engine and everything. So, yeah, Master.
Day is never finished. Master got me working.
Master tradesman Alex Ankrum, everybody. So don't get over here giving a long speech because we got a lot to do.
The only thing different with this time around is I'm going to really try to make sure that I'm not just cutting things up and just making my own harness to save time. I'm actually going to try to make all the inside of the car work. I want the windows to work, the push button in the car to work, all that stuff to work. Air conditioning will be later. The first thing is I've got a subframe sitting over there. It's for the BK2 subframe. The Sikky mounts only have one point that it mounts on. This has 3. So this whole subframe's coming out. I'm putting another subframe in. All the factory wiring harness, so like all this stuff right here, this is for the factory 2.0. That's all coming out of here. The factory radiator is coming out. I'm going to utilize the same core support, but the factory radiator has got to come out. I'm going to utilize the CSF radiator. And I'm going to try to keep the ABS in. There's 2 ways to do it. You either keep it in or you get a proportional valve to adjust how much brake power goes to the front, to the rear. It doesn't matter, my sensor's not there anyway, so the ABS doesn't work. I'm just going to keep it in place because it'll still function. But this fuse box is probably going to go away. All this is going to go away. I got to get the clutch out, and of course all the intercooler and stuff's coming out of here. So the first thing today is going to get this front clip off. Once this front clip is off, then I can go in and start cleaning stuff up in here.
What did we find out?
Okay, so you guys in the future doing an LS swap for the BK1. This is not for the BK2. The BK1, you can get rid of the entire ECU and all your interior stuff's gonna work. So like, I can still roll up the windows, can still do everything, and I'll show you how it's connected. But essentially right now I have the ECU unplugged. I've got all the motor harness unplugged. I only have the one plug that runs in here to control the BCM, which is the body control module. Everything in here works right now. You need the manual AC controller. So I had the manual one. The auto one has just the one in the center. The manual has 2 on the side. They both take the same plug. But I can still control everything through here. The blower still works. That's fantastic. And the push button right now, if you have the key, it's still going to work. So now I just got to figure out which wire is going to be the key on. So that way I can wire that to the Holly. So that way I can use the push button to start the car. So it's real clean in here. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I got the R-Spec seats. Them bitches are sexy. So right now, I have it set up on just the jump pad. I'm gonna take it off. Okay, so this is for your actual ECU, all the original motor stuff. This other one that is typically on this side, typically there's a fuse that sits right here, okay? And that's where this cable originally was sitting over here. So all I did was just to test it directly and make sure that it would still work. So I just jumpered it. But what this is showing me is that I have, as you can see, the ECU and stuff over there is all unplugged. Everything is unplugged. This whole fuse box is unplugged. This fuse box and the ECU is unplugged. So all this is about to get out of here. And then this right here is the only cable, as you can see, if you look down on the bottom of here, this cable goes straight down into the actual body of the car. It has nothing to do with the exterior stuff here. So as you can see here, this whole side is going to come out. I'm going to take these brackets off because I won't need those. I want to clean that up. And your power steering pump bracket, so like this right here, it's going to come off as well too. But all this stuff right here, this isn't used anymore. So you have 2 options. You could cut it if you really wanted to. My advice, tuck it underneath the battery or something, underneath back here. Alright, so this is the engine harness for a 2.0. I sell these for $300 all day. So brings my cost down even a little bit more now. So I'm sub $1,000 into this project. And I know I got 3 buyers lined up for that already.
Alex is a liar, so it's probably 1 buyer, but I'm gonna let him make it.
I literally have 3 people right now. Remind me, I'll pull up the text threads. I got them up there. People are like asking me for harness. Taz didn't believe me, but I'm currently packing up that harness that came out of this car. It's already sold. Sold that for, I sold it for $250, and then of course I also sold him a shifter linkage. So total was $350 shipped. My shipping cost is going to be about $20-30. So like I said, about $300. So making some of the money back that I had to spend here. I hurt my little hand earlier today, so Taz is helping me. Oh, look at them big old strong muscles. Oh, God, I'd love to get up inside of that right there.
There he goes. Just subframe is about to come out.
Yeah, and so on the BK ones, they have 6 bolts. It's 3 on each side. On the BK2s, they only have 2 bolts, which I think is funny. So what we decided to do was bring the entire steering rack down. I've got 4 steering racks up in my attic right now. I was thinking about putting a newer one in, but honestly, just fuck it. And what I was going to do was I was going to put this kind of back on the ground and then just lift the car back up so we don't have to pick it up. I'm going to take 4 of these bolts out and then do the middle ones because it's hard to get with the impact to the middle one here because just the angle of it. This isn't that hard of a process. It's just time consuming because you just got to bolt some stuff, bolt up the new shit, re-bolt it back up. That's really the only thing. Now, if you buy the Sikky power steering kit, you're gonna have to put this little fitting on here. And you can trace this. You're big boys. If you're doing LS swap, you're a big boy, okay? You daddy's big boy. You're gonna be able to run and trace that to see which one is the incoming. Now, that goes into here, and then of course, then you have this as your return. Now, this little factory cooler, I'm gonna keep in place for now. Eventually, I'm gonna put a whole cooler on there. Everything else, the kit, it connects to here. This, you can just take this off really easy with the clamp. You can sell that if you want, to be honest with you. I get like maybe 20 bucks out of these. This that I cut in half with a Dremel, that is no longer good. But this is where the positive, like the power side was coming through, the positive pressure. So that's gone, so is this piece of shit. I'm just gonna toss all that because I've got a bunch of those in the attic. This is ready to go. We're gonna put it back on the subframe and put the new subframe in the car. What if I just took my dick out on camera? Think about it, boys. Maybe at the end of this video, my dick's gonna come out, you don't know. Get on there, you little bitch fuck. Like that little swing move I just did there? The ladies love that. I come around and hit them with this right here. I like fucking love it.
I know those have torque specs, but
they do. You know, so that's it. That's what it takes to change the subframe, guys. So check back next week, and you know, we'll teach your kids how to sing ABBs or some shit. I don't fucking know.
3 hours later.
You can go on YouTube and you can find any place to do anything as far as doing rear main seals, oil pans. But if you buy the kit, it's going to come with this type of oil pan, which is going to be either the Canton, if you want to get it cheaper. The Canton is the same plan. This just happens to be the Sikky one. When you do the rear main seal, make sure that you at least get 18 foot-pounds of torque on these bolts on the back here. All these, and you do a cross pattern. The oil pan, we're going to make sure you get the new gasket, and you're going to do silicone on all these corners. You're going to silicone. Now, some people tell you do silicone all the way, but the gasket has rubber. That's kind of fucking pointless. So just make sure that where all this stuff meets down here, anywhere you see the metal meets metal over here, that needs to have silicone on it, so that way you can just use RVT, the black or gray, it doesn't really matter.
he keeps saying RVT. It's RTV. Just want to clear that up with y'all.
So another thing is, if you're going to use an LS7 clutch kit, it's going to come normally with this bearing in it. This bearing is not for you if you're going to use an F-body T56 or the GTO T56, which I use the GTO T56. There is another bearing. This one sits on this front part right here. The other bearing, which I have in the freezer right now, sits into the smaller hole in here, and that's actually what you need for the F-body T56. It's very important that you get the right bearing. I'm gonna grab that out of the freezer. I'm gonna tap the correct bearing in. And you want to keep going until it's flush with the back surface back here. So right now that is flush. Don't use any grease or anything inside of here. It's already pre-packed. You don't have to do anything extra. All the stuff you need right here is for the clutch and the new slave. So this right here is the conversion. Yeah, I know. And then right here is for the remote bleeder. This is one of the bleed screws right here. It's hard to get apart. And then you'll need one of these for the slave cylinder itself. The slave, what you're going to have to do is this pin right here, you're going to have to tap that out. You can use, you need an actual, the one with the roll pin, one right there. You're going to set that into here, and then you're going to slowly tap it out and replace the stock one. This is what it comes with stock. You're going to put that, take that out, and put that one in its place. Once you get all that set up, this is going to connect into there like that, and then you have a few options as far as remote bleeders go, but in this case I'm going to use this kit. Okay, so this is again what you're going to use on the actual slave for the actual clutch to hook up here. It's an AN3 fitting, so that's going to go here, and then it's going to come into this fitting here. This is an 1/8 inch to a 3 AN 90 degree. You could kind of use whatever you want, straight, whatever. You're going to remove this bleeder, right? You're going to install the kit, put the washer in there, and then it comes with this handy dandy bracket so you can see it in here. Now, this fitting and this fitting screw in here. There's no washer needed. They actually seal inside of there, kind of like a compression fitting. This is connected here. This will get tightened up at some point, and then of course you're going to tighten up all the fitting here for your actual clutch line. And in my case, I'm just going to use a straight 3 AN to a 1/8 inch MPT. This is going to go to the Willwood. That's going to be for the clutch. The Sikky starter is in. I also tested this starter before I put it in. You should definitely do that. No matter if it's a brand new starter, test it before you do it. Make sure before you put your motor in that you're checking all the bolts and everything, that everything's tight, that everything you did on the backside here, everything's torqued down, everything's correct. Everything looks good before you decide to go and put this motor in, and then shit's loose. Because it's a lot easier to do it while it's singing out of here than it is once you get it into the car. Alright, so for the 256, you're going to need this kit right here. This is going to be the reverse lockout and CAGS delete. This is for the CAGS portion. This is for the reverse lockout. This right here is your reverse lockout. There is a, I believe it's a 10 or a 12 or something, a little bolt right here holding it in place. Take that off. This you're going to have to get a bigger wrench on and actually break it loose. For the reverse lockout, this faces out. This is going to go inside the trans. And then of course this is pretty self-explanatory. So I had to put some silicone on here. I just used some of this right here. It's just the RTV silicone. Basically because it kind of just put right in there and you have to tap it in. So I actually tapped it in a little bit further back and then used some silicone. I mean, really the whole purpose of that is just to make sure it seals. Of course, with this one, it's got an O-ring seal on it, so you don't really have to tighten it too much. Shaft. Not too much. You got this once it gets in. Now it's in there.
We got the Holly harness that Alex actually hates now. Just ran it through the firewall.
If you don't plan to ever boost this motor or need to do like constant tuning on it, you can legitimately buy a fucking PSI wiring harness and you don't have to do all this bullshit. It'll just, everything will plug up. For example, in the LS2, it's a 24X crank, but the camshaft sensor is in the front of the motor versus on the LS1, which is in the rear of the motor. So now I have to buy an extension for that to make it work. Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into this stupid fucking wiring harness than it should for the cost. Shouldn't cost that much for the amount of bullshit you have to do. Like, for example, you also have to buy manifold air temperature sensor that does not come on any motor factory, which I don't understand that at all. So you have to buy an extra sensor. I don't have one on any of my other ones, and that shit works fine. I didn't pay anything for this, so I can't be that mad. But man, I'm really glad I didn't spend $2,500 fucking dollars on everything that costs to do this. Either way, running it through the firewall is pretty simple. It just goes right up underneath the glove box. It's kind of, you need 2 people really to do it, and then you can run everything through. And then really the only extra of the loose wires that are in this kit is this red wire that I'm holding. This has to go to the battery. And you can see, well, you won't be able to see on the camera, but it says fuse on there because this is fused. So this is going to go straight to the battery. Everything else pretty much just stays in the car depending on what you're going to run.
I seen it. Yeah, I got it. Alright.
We're going to fuck these guys over because, you know, they'll just... It says Holly, they'll pay it.
They're going to fucking pay it anyways.
They fucking know. What are they going to do? They're going to make their own. And you definitely don't want to break these because Holly's going to be like, well, $400, we'll send you another connector. You just let us know. All right, so I am getting the wiring finished up. This is what I cut out of the harness. So as you can see, I've put some heat shrink on these cables. The 2 red ones are just constant 12s I might use in the future. And then you also have the one for the fans, and then that I'm not going to use at all. And then these right here for the air conditioner when I decide to hook it up, the blue and the yellow, which I know it's kind of hard to see. This is going to go to the starter. This is the pink wire. That's going to the starter. Up here, I have this connection right here. This is going to the fuel pump. So I'm going to power that. I'm actually going to build a relay and where the fuel pump is, but this is going to be the power for that. And that cable goes all the way back to the fuel pump. One of these, if I can pull it out of here, this is to one of the fans. The yellow one is to the other fan, and then this is coming off the Holly. So this is already pre-fused at the Holly, so this is just going to get connected to the battery. You take off that harness, you lose the connection between here and here. So I'm going to make a little connection between those two. So for the fans, I'm not going to use the stock relays. I'm going to actually make my own. So that's what I'm doing here. Right now I'm using pin 86 and 30 on the relay, just coupling together. It's going to be fused to the battery. My out is 87. That's going to supply the 12 volts to the fan. And then my 86 pin is going to be connected to my Holly output wire that is a ground trigger. So that's how that's going to be wired up. I've got the relays sitting over here next to the battery, so one for each fan. I pulled these out of the wiring harness because those come around and then come to here, which I'm buying another switch instead of using the factory switch. And the reason why I'm not going to do that, because of course I could cut it off that fan over there, but I sell parts. So it's easier to sell something that can plug and play, and that right there is a $50 bill for me. That's what I'm doing right here. So all it's going to get plugged up and out of the way. So for your starter, you're going to need from the ignition, this is going to be that pink wire that's in the car. Now I've added a little plug connector here so I can easily plug it and unplug it. And then right here, you're going to have, this is straight to your battery. So you should use at least 4-gauge wire, and that's what I've done here. So this is a 4-gauge wire. Now this is going to go directly, no fuses, nothing like that, directly to your positive side. If you're going to use the stock one, you're going to want to connect it to this side, not to the fuse side, through this side. All the other stuff can go through the fuse sides, but this needs to go directly to the terminal. Premium power cable, right? I got a bunch of cable that I've had for just over years. And I recommend getting some good heavy-duty wire cutters like this. And of course, you're going to need a crimper for that and a little kit for the 4-gauge wiring. Now for the alternator connection, I'm actually going to try to utilize the factory alternator connection. It's literally just a power wire that comes through here. So should be able to just use this, and the alternator for where I'm at sits pretty much in the same location. If you have a different LS where it's up top or something like that, you might not be able to use this, or you have to cut this back. Where I'm at and where my alternator is, because you can see my alternator's down here, should be perfect for that, honestly. Okay, so one thing I recommend you do is always test your components, the electronic stuff you made, before you finish it up. Be sure that it works before you put it all back together. Okay, so now what I'm fixing to do anyways is replace the factory master cylinder for the clutch with the Willwood setup. Now I have the box for it, and if not, I'll put the part number for this in there. But there's also a adapter plate you have to buy as well. I think it's made by ISR. Anyways, it doesn't come with these bolts either, so you have to buy these bolts. It's fucking stupid. So you gotta first take this out of the car. Of course, this connection is where your master cylinder from your brake comes to feed your clutch. It's easier to take this out because there's 1, 2, 3 bolts you gotta get off the firewall. Those are really easy to get to. It's not that bad at all. This one's a fucking pain. They're all 12 millimeters, but you just loosen this one up so it'll slide off the bracket from inside the car. There is a little retainer clip right there. When you get that off, that's just gonna slide off. And then you'll have to get factory, what the hell you call this, a little master cylinder. So then you just twist it and it comes out just like so. Okay, this is pretty important. Your factory clutch comes with a little rubber bushing, okay? You gotta take that off, put it on this before you install it into the car. By putting this bushing on there, it should help with how much it moves. Back into the wheelwood, I'm actually using a straight AN3 to an 1/8 inch. And what I've actually done is I use Swack, which is a swage lock product, so it's a little bit expensive, but it's just a pipe dope. And so as you can see, I put a little bit on there, and I actually took some extra off just so I can put some more on here. Because again, what this is doing is it's actually going to seal these threads. Now it's going to take 24 hours for this to cure, so you want to give it time to do that. I'm going to take it and just start screwing it in here, but you want to get it nice and snug in there. Of course, it's MPT, so I've got it snug, but just so you guys can kind of see that, it's screwed in there, and that's going to take about 24 hours to cure. Then we can work on installing this, so we'll do that tomorrow. We're going to go and reinstall this back in the car. Again, you'll put the clutch pedal back in, and then you'll slide this into place. You'll slide it through the firewall, this part through the firewall, then connect here. Then make sure you get your pin and put your pin in there to hold that in place. So, take that off, slide it out of its cavity. So we'll get that out. We'll do the painstaking part of putting this back in the car. That is how I'm doing my clutch master cylinder setup. So this will just sit right on top of there. I'm underneath the car. I've got a cut-off wheel. Basically where the shifter goes, I've had to do it every single time, so I'm gonna do it this time, but you have to cut a little bit of the shifter hole out up here in the tunnel, so that way the shifter with your extension fits in there a little bit better. Kind of go from the center here, and I'm essentially gonna cut down this arm right here over and cut this whole piece off right here. Oh, God, I'm tired of hitting my fucking head. That's pretty much what it should look like. Ignore this cut. I fucked up. Pretty much it'll look like that. Just so it kind of opens it up. Not saying you need that much space, but I'd rather cut off more than I need. That way I don't have to go back and recut the shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to drop the engine into the engine bay onto the subframe as he struggles and as I film. It's a good day, you know what I'm saying? Now you don't want to do it, see? Yeah, the other part wasn't needed. This is the important part. There you go. Usually leverage some shit, even though it ain't going nowhere.
That's what having a lift is great for you. Trying to get the headers around this shaft right here, which is for the steering column. Worst case, we're gonna have to lift it up and drop the power steering rack down a little bit to be able to get some free play in that. But go around it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's gonna go around it. All right.
You wanna go up?
Yeah, go up some. Stay right there for a second. Let me put the nuts in so it's holding the motor.
Get up in there.
I don't know which way is better to get up in here. I just think it's like this side's easier just because when you move the steering rack out of the way. Really the biggest bitch.
We're just out here underneath the car, guys. What do you have to say about that motor going in?
I'm just glad it was easy. Shout out to this nice, luscious $5,000, $4,000 lift.
How do you feel?
Thank you. Making sure the fit. So this is for the power steering, so I'm just making sure that that fitting works. Because the other part is down there, but as long as it's not touching the header. Right now I'm connecting all of the Holley stuff. So if you have a map sensor, which is a 1-bar sensor, it's going to go here. This is the mat sensor. This is the special thing that you need for the Holley setup. So right now I just have the sensor I bought. It's just connected in here for right now. It's going to go into the to the air intake. Now for me, I'm not using any of these connections right here. So the idle air control, that's for drive-by cable. TPS, throttle position sensor, don't need that. And the fuel pressure sensor, I'm not going to use any of that. The coolant temperature sensor is down there. This is going to be your wideband right here, so I'm going to get that connected. It's going to go on this side. Your even pack is on your driver's side. Whenever you lay the wires out, they only go one way. So the one with all this connection is going to go on your driver's side, so you can see that right here. That's where your coil pack plugs into. This is where your other coil pack plugs into with the map sensor. You're going to have the oil pressure sensor that goes into that connection there, which you'll need that special connection. See right here, you got your ground heads, which your head grounds is what I was trying to say right there. And also if you use the knock sensors, you can. The knock sensor will plug into the back as well. For me, mine are on the side by the header, so I got an extension. You don't need the knock sensors to start this though. So the crank sensor for me is going to be very challenging to get installed because of where the starter is. So I'm going to pull the starter down, then plug this in, but it literally goes right behind the starter. You know, the Holley Terminator has some stuff, but all these other, like for the starter wire and stuff, I have to make all that. This is my special alternator plug that I had to buy. There's a few videos talking about this kind of stuff, but this is an adapter I had to buy so it can plug into the LS2 style alternator, because this one is not a simple 12 volt input. It's actually 5 volts and it's an oscillation type. Up here, this is just the plugs for the Holley. And then right here, this is the extension that I have for the cam sensor. Because I have an LS2 with a 24x crank, on the LS1s the cam sensor is in the back, but mine for the LS2, that is where mine is. It's on the front, and the wires have to get crossed. A and C have to get crossed, and A, B, C, so A and C have to get crossed. Okay, so the great thing is the cable that comes from your factory driver's side fuse box for your alternator will actually go directly right there. You can even keep the cap on it. Now this is only, again, if your alternator sits down here. Okay, let's talk about some other points. First thing I want to talk about is your oil filter relocation. Now, on some people, if you don't have the air condition, Sikky makes a little bracket that goes on that side. You can put the oil filter there. Of course, I have the air condition, so that's not going to work. I am going to get some 90 degree, and these are 10 AN fittings right here. And I'm gonna get some 90 degrees and I'm gonna mount this bracket right here, which I'll show later. Is making sure that you have this set up correctly. See where it says in and out? This connection, the in, comes from the outside of the motor. The outside of the filter goes to the in of the motor. So the front one, this is the out. And it's even labeled right here, okay? This is the out, that's the in. So this out goes to the in on the filter. The out on the filter comes in. That's very important. If you fuck that up, pretty much say goodbye to your motor. The trans is now mounted. The drive shaft is in. That's all pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's just some bolts and tightening them up. I've got the factory down pipes added to these V-band clips here. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after that though. So this line right here, it's connected to this right here. For me, I plug this right here, so just a little vacuum hose plug. This is your steam port right here, so that's going to be connected. You can get one of these little adapters on Amazon. This size right here is 1.25 inches, and so I just got an 1.25 inch adapter with the MPT 1/8 inch with the nipple, with the barbed nipple, so it can go onto here. You'll also need back here, so on the back side, this is for your brake booster. This is a 3/8 line. It goes to an adapter to a 1/2 inch that goes onto the back of the motor here. Of course, you'll have to come over here and use a cap to cap this off. You can go ahead and start connecting your clutch lines, making sure that's tight, and then you can fill your clutch reservoir and also fill your brake reservoir back up. For the stock AC lines, I'm just gonna zip tie them out of the way for now until I get the custom lines made. I made the mat sensor. I use a little tap, a 3/8 tap. It's a 3/8 by 18 tap to tap this into the intake. This doesn't look super great, but it's just really to get this thing started. The last thing's gonna be I'm gonna retain this factory power steering cooler, and once I put the core support on, I'm going to mount it up. This filter, it's gonna sit right here, and of course it's gonna sit here. I might use a zip tie, just kind of hold it in place, but it's not gonna go anywhere because it's pretty much sandwiched in between the radiator support and here. So the fuel line, I use this AN adapter. Jason Riddle sells them. Basically just snaps right on to the factory LS1, LS2 fuel rail. And then I use this is the stock hose that came on the Genesis Coupe. I just cut it to size and I heat it up with a heat gun, not an open flame. And there's a little bumped ridge right here. So I heated this up so it would go over, and then I use a clamp to hold it in place. The factory clamp is still holding this here. That was factory, should be fine. And of course, this hole is still open. DW300 pump. And I'm going to be just sending directly fuel into it because it goes through a regulator and a filter. Should be fine. It regulates it to like 55 PSI, which should be okay. I mean, I literally do the same thing on this car. Investing in a good vacuum bleeder is a necessity. So right now we're gonna be bleeding out the clutch line, and all I should have to do is start putting the vacuum on. There it goes. So once we see a solid stream come out of here, then we know it's bled. So what I like to do is I literally fill it up all the way to the top. I'm just using some .4 brake fluid. And then that way I can suck a lot of it down, because of course you don't want this all the way to the top. But I'm gonna go ahead and start sucking down through here so I can get all the air out. So I'm on the lift, but as you can see, that's me pushing pretty hard. I really have to get in here and push that thing. So, didn't even touch the clutch pedal. I think I maybe pumped it 1 or 2 times, but the vacuum bleeder does all the work. If you're gonna use Jason's shroud that he sells, up on here like that, you're gonna bolt that in, bolt this side in, and then come over here. These are just some Amazon fans. They're 12-inch fans. That's what you're gonna use for it. And what I need to do is drill some holes here. You got 8 holes to drill. So I can attach these fans, and then I'm gonna put these onto the switch so they're all connected, and they'll be on the plug-in switch. It's a little dark, but this is my connector for the fans. I've got the ground going to both, and then one power cable. And the great thing is I can come over here as I flip this thing up and I can unplug them. Let's talk about the fuel pump and what we're doing here. So I've already disassembled it. Brian Paul makes a really good video on how to disassemble this, especially for the BK1. This is the old pump right here. So this right here is the old pump. This is gonna be the new pump. So the good thing is these are pretty much the same size, and it's pretty much a direct replacement. There's no real videos on how to put it back together and what you're supposed to do, especially for the BK1. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna need a box cutter, essentially, you're gonna cut this line out, and we're going to replace it with this new line that they send. And then of course it comes with the new harness, and so this harness of course will plug directly into this pump, and then it will plug up into the fuel basket up top. So up top here there's some plugs. It's going to plug in directly up here to this bottom one right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's going to be that bottom plug that it's going to plug into. So, but before we do that, let's get this thing off. There it goes. So that piece is off now, and the next wonderful part is you got to get it off this top piece too. And so now that that's done, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably heat this up, see if we can get that to expand so I can put this over that one. I'm going to heat this up off camera. Okay, so once you have the fuel pump, you'll see that this is sitting down here at the bottom. Your strainer is going to go on here. Now, my dumbass ordered the strainer for the BK2, so this actually does not sit in there. This will go right back inside of here. We're going to put the plug in here. And then this is the new line right here. So Again, I just used a heat gun to heat that part up and slide it on, and now it's on. I'm not using these little retainer pins. That's pretty snug on there. I think it's a good seal. I don't see an issue with that. O-ring is still up inside of here. So this is gonna go all up onto that fuel pump again. Reassemble everything once I get the strainer back in place, and we'll reassemble this and put it back into the car. Now, as far as the fuel pump relay goes, you can look at Brian Paul's video. He does a really good description of how that works. The consensus normally is you can leave the evap for your fuel open in the front. What I also did, I'm gonna try to get a good video here. This right here, I cut that off. This is the differential. So it's right above the differential. And I cut that off because this is where your evap is, so that way your tank doesn't build pressure. This is the line right here that you can leave open. This is gonna be your incoming fuel. This right here is what you can just leave open. Okay, so right now I'm doing a test fit on this radiator hose. Of course, it has to go there, but all I'm gonna do is cut it, use the union adapter, and just turn it. So this is the part number, and actually it's nice because it goes from 1.5 inches, which is what this is, down to 1.25 inches, which is what the inlet on that 3.8 radiator is. All I'm gonna do is cut it here and just turn it. You're going to have to trim some of this off as well to make it sit essentially like this, so it fits. But you can literally just go to O'Reilly's. This is $20. So that way you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what hose to get. I would get this hose right here, made by Gates. Now once you get it cut, you can see here, that's where I made the cut. As soon as I get the little adapter in there, it's going to fit perfectly. Under the car view, so you can kind of see that.
That brother said he nervous.
I'm checking all the stuff because you got to use this little screen here. But it's ready to crank, so as soon as I hit the button, it should start.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
All right, see what happens.
I'm ready to find the fuck out. Well, that was...
Battery's good. Mat is good. Ignition, kilobar, GPS. Yep. Try one more time.
You got gas?
Yeah, I got gas.
Alright.
I heard the fuel pump originally, but now I'm not hearing it when I do it this time. But it's not getting any fuel, and what I had said is that I put the fuel pump together, so that's probably why it doesn't fucking work. Either the pump isn't getting any gas into it, because it's coming, I can hear it. You can hear it fucking going. So that tells me the fuel pump comes on.
She's a squirter. Alright, we're plugging it back in. Well, he's about to see if it's going to prime now. My vote is the wiring, guys. I still think he wired up something wrong.
I am dead inside. 3 hours later.
I'm just going to explain what happened. Anyways, my wiring was correct. What happened is that DW300 Dershowitz, that fuel pump that's supposed to be a drop-in fuel pump for this car, it comes with a new wiring harness for inside the fuel pump, and the black and red means power, black means ground typically. Somebody at the factory swapped those pins. So now the factory Hyundai connection is now the ground for the power. The factory power connection on the Hyundai is now the ground, and the ground is now the power. I'm just going to go ahead and rewire this to be correct. This whole problem was because somebody at the factory did not pay attention that day and then caused me an hour's worth of work. So appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you for this.
Alright.
Okay.
Try number 2.
We got fuel. Actually, before we start, I'm going to make sure there's no leaks on the fuel up there. You see any fuel coming out up there? No fuel? Nothing?
There's nothing coming out.
It's not that I don't trust you. I just want to check before I start a fire. Okay. Alright. We got fuel. We got crank. Let's see if we got spark. Jesus Christ.
So, is it working?
Yeah, I think so. It's very, very loud. I'm running an open header I mean, just straight
God.
fuel dumping.
That was. I knew it was gonna be loud, but god damn.
Take a look at this. You'll see. Just take a look. You're not even gonna believe it.
The fuck is that? This goddamn monster in the garage.
This thing's set on a stand, I think, for what,
What
almost
seems to
3
be
years?
The diagnostics.
Well, it's hard to tell because it's so fucking loud.
Yeah, he's.
All right, let's see if this one starts.
Nobody wants stock though. That's just you.
It's gonna be real loud.
That's fine. I know. I'll die.
Made it worse.
Yeah, it didn't start. Because V3 was the one that was actually working. But that's the one, so that's the one I started up originally.
That's when it started up just now and was backfiring a little bit.
Yeah, it was backfiring a little bit, but it came. The RPM was reading.
It didn't say error.
What's going on here?
I don't even know at this point. I really don't know. So I swapped the wire for the cam sensor. Put a new cam sensor in as well. Swapped the wire, and when I started up on that V3, it is there anything else in here that was different? Like
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now
It
this
look like a car. Can you update the people with what's been going on?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to give a shout out to Tyler right here. After I gave him a hand job in the back corner over there, came over and helped me because I have no experience with the Holly shit whatsoever. And come to find out that this is not plug and play. This is not even close to plug and play. You spend all that money, you got to put all this information into this system, and then for it to tell you, well, I don't know, this may not work. For the most part, just know that if you have an LS2 with a Holly, you're going to have a fucking bad time. You have a really shitty time, okay? We had to go in, and we are, I think, what, version 6 now?
Yeah.
Version 6 on the tune, just to get it to idle right, and to get the crank sensor to do what it's supposed to do, the cam sensor, all that kind of shit, to make sure that it's actually setting the RPMs at the correct level, which, kind of see, this is the extender for the cam that I had put on here. This cam extension, I had to swap these wires. That cam sensor extender had to get swapped in order for so we could see the RPMs correctly. Then we also had to, like, you gotta know exactly the exact GM part number of your fucking injectors. You gotta know the exact GM part number of your map sensor, of your throttle body. They don't make this shit easy. They really don't. And it's hard. You can't just, you search it up, they give you like an AC Delco. That's not the part number. It's not. You gotta go deep. You gotta go real deep to find these part numbers. Once you find all your fucking part numbers and put all those correctly in there, at that point, then it'll start. Kind of. It'll run really weird. And then you gotta make sure all your firing order is incorrect, your little fucking numbers and everything are good. Then it'll idle. Now here's the thing. I can't just take this out and go ripping at it right now because you can't do that. You gotta get a fucking tune. No, it says it learns, it doesn't fucking learn it.
Self-tuning means it has closed loop corrections. That means it has a wideband. And if you command 14.7 and it's reading 14.6, it's going to pull a little fuel out. Self-tuning does not mean that it's going to make sure your throttle body is not opening too much and over-revving, and your spark isn't adding too much so it's over-revving, and that's a sales tactic.
It's a fucking sales tactic. Right now I'm doing, this is an awful demonstration of my skills, but I'm just cutting this back because I need a little bit of it cut back. Yeah, the cut's still shit, but it's fine.
Look, nobody's just... Got exhaust now.
It does. 3 years of hard work has been building up to this moment. It took 10 cars to make that motherfucker right there. 10 motherfucking cars. Honestly, that could have been done 2 years ago, but I'm lazy. I never seen two bad bitches. I know how the sound goes or something like that. I don't know how to use TikTok because I'm almost 30, so it's a problem for me. Alright, so now that that car is gone, I gotta get the other one in here to start that part out. Let's go over the final numbers and end this video after 3 hours. Alright, so thank you to the 3 of you guys that made it through this entire video. So this is just gonna be the closeout here. First I wanna say thank y'all for making it this far. I know it was a super long video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully it was somewhat entertaining. And I just want to start off by saying that I know that I didn't do the best when it came to keeping record and keeping track of everything that I bought and sold, especially over the time when I was just buying so many Genesis coupes that I just wasn't able to film all that. I wasn't able to keep track of everything. I actually lost Marketplace on my main Facebook account. I got kicked off, so I lost like all those messages. I do know that there's gonna be people that don't believe this or say, oh, you're bullshit, you're making this up, and that's fine. Those are also the same people that got really shitty credit scores or in high amounts of debt and don't believe you can actually get out and work for something. This video ain't for them. This video is for the guys that actually want to see that, hey, if you get out there and hustle, you start negotiating, you put the time and effort in, you can do it. Now, I realistically could have done this in the span of like 3 to 4 months had I just stayed focused, and of course I would have had to use that ISR swap kit. I could have done it in that time frame, but of course my day job took priority. I travel a lot, and that really took priority because I've got to pay for all my mortgages. I've got other things that have to come first on top of the other 2 side businesses that I run. And I don't really make YouTube videos any much, or videos in general, just because I don't really make money from them, so it just seems to be a waste. But I put a lot of time and effort into this video, into editing it, into putting it together, that I wanted to release it. And I know it's probably not gonna get a lot of views, and that's fine. Let's talk about the final numbers. So we know that when it came to having the car, the motor, the transmission, we're gonna say ISR swap kit, even though this has the Sikky in there now. And then of course the Hollow Terminator kit, and then all the other little miscellaneous things. We know that I had $8,600 in cash before I started the actual LS build process of that video. So I had $8,600, right? So I know that I had to spend about $1,000 with Jason Riddle, okay? We're also gonna deduct another $1,000 of miscellaneous stuff I had to buy for the LS build. I broke the bell housing, so I had to buy that again. All the little miscellaneous stuff because I had to pay for overnight shipping to get it there quick as possible. So all that, we're gonna take another $1,000, and because there's gonna be skeptics about, how I got the wheels or how I got the coilovers or the angle kit itself, so we're gonna take out another $1,000 for that, right? Because I don't have any videos of the cars I bought with these wheels on them. I don't have any videos of the PBM Pro Max coilovers I bought on that car. I don't have that, so we're just gonna say another $1,000 off of that. I still would have had $5,600 after building this car. I still would have had that. Now, I didn't do the AC on this car yet. I know I gotta get the custom lines made. So we're gonna take off another $600, bringing our total to $5,000, what we started with left over. I'm just throwing the fact that realistically, you'd still have $5,000 left over, so you could spend more money, you could add turbos, you could do whatever you want, right? I did this as a pretty much bone stock LS2 with the T56. It's got an LS7 clutch, it's got the Sikky swap kit, it's got the FDF angle kit, it's got the dual Brimbros in the rear, It's got the hydro, it's got, you know, the nice seats from the BK2 R spec, you know, and it's got all that kind of stuff in there. But we're gonna take all that off. We're gonna say, okay, that I more than likely broke even on what I was doing, right? Maybe I had to spend an extra $100 that I'm not taking into account right now. I don't know where. That's why I'm just taking off extra thousands. I pretty much took extra $3,000 off. So I now have a car that I think is worth about $20,000. You can fight me in the comments or however you want that you don't think an LS Swap Genesis Coupe with a clean title is worth $20K. But so I now have my money back, plus I got a car that's worth at least $20,000. And again, I know there's gonna be a lot of skepticism, but I really did try to put as much proof in there as I could. I had people that went with me, I had the screenshots, and you know, some of the cars like this Genesis Coupe, in the screenshot you can see where it says 3,500 is my best. But when I get there, I do negotiate in person and get them down. I always find something, whether it's, oh, the tires are bad, or there's a dent here, there's something there. I always find something, so I get them down just a little bit more money. Now, of course, I didn't factor in like the gas or using like the miles on the truck or anything like that. So if you really want to be, we'll take off another $1,000. So we'll bring it down to $4,000.
Tell you what, I'm gonna take it down a little. We're gonna drop that price to $75.95.
We'll bring it down to $4,000, okay? So it took me $1,000 to build this car, okay? $1,000. Anyways, guys, I love y'all. Thank y'all. I know I don't really post much anymore. I really just kind of finished this up for myself. Thank y'all for watching. Until next year, 2 years from now, whenever it is.